Greetings from Jacksonville, Arkansas. Today is Friday, November 7, 2025, and the time is approximately 4:16 p.m. Y'all, let me turn my bacon down, the fire down on my bacon here. Y'all, I'm going to make this video real quick. I have some grits here. I'm using the Quaker Oats. I have a previous video cooking grits, eggs with grated cheddar cheese and bacon before, and I will include it in the description box. I just want to give you some tips on your bacon. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my grits back there that I'm thickening up quite well. And let me just take a snippet of that. And I just want to show you all that I just opened up this Kentucky Legend Applewood bacon. And in order, and this was on my pick 5 at Cash Saver Edwards, I have a grocery haul that I will be including in the review from Cash Saver Edwards, a more recent grocery haul. I will include that link in the description box below as well. But you all, I just opened this up, and so I just want to give you a tip that I am not going to leave this bacon like this. I'm going to cut it in half. It has an expiration date right here. It says use or freeze by November 19, 2025. Keep in mind that today is the 7th. So what I did was I took 3 pieces of bacon and I cut it in half. And that's the way I always fry my bacon. I rarely leave it the full length of the bacon like this. And bacon will shrink once you cook it on average. So let me get a knife and I'm going to cut this in half. And this is just a tip. And then I also have pulled out a freezer bag right here. And I'm going to separate the bacon. I'll be cutting it in half so it can last longer. And just take out the portions that I need. I'll be putting it inside of this freezer bag here. But let me go ahead and flip over this bacon. And then I'll cut it. Again, I'm going to make this very quick. I might include a picture of the finished product of the bacon, grits, and I'll show you the eggs here in a second before I cut the bacon. I've already cooked my eggs in pure butter. Sometimes I use olive oil. I do have some of this kind as well. But if you're using eggs, I prefer to use just the regular olive oil on the eggs, not the extra virgin. Extra virgin is more for spiritual use. And I mean, both of them are for spiritual use, but if you're using it for like eggs, just use regular olive oil, not extra olive oil on your eggs. But yeah, I did use pure unsalted butter. Zepta. Okay. All right, so I flipped this over. I've turned off my grits. This is the Kentucky Legend Applewood bacon. Right here, I've already made my eggs cooked in pure butter. And I did add some grated cheese right at the end after the eggs were done. I put a little bit of salt in there and a little bit of black pepper. So if you hadn't had eggs with grated cheddar cheese, not American cheese, but grated cheddar cheese, and grits with a little bit of margarine and sugar in it and bacon, you are missing out. Cover that back up. Our bacon is cooking up nicely. Now, without further ado, I know you've seen others cut the bacon, because if you don't, y'all, it'll go bad. It'll get that slimy texture and you'll have to throw it out or even get an odor. So to avoid that, I want to keep this bacon only for frying it, but also for using in like green beans for recipes. Bacon grease, you see how that grease comes out of the bacon? You don't have to throw that away. You can use that bacon in your green beans and pinto beans and other recipes. It makes it taste better. It makes your food taste more richer. Bacon grease has been used to season certain foods in the South for many years. Y'all, I'm just pulling the bacon out right now. And I have my knife here. And I'm just going to, because I don't have a cameraman, I'm just going to cut it right down here to split it in half. Now, one side of the bacon may be a little thinner than the other side, or thicker than the other side, if that makes any sense. But anyways, you all, let me go ahead and cut this bacon in half. One moment. Okay, you all, I have cut the bacon off camera. As you can see, I've cut the bacon in half. I had to flip it over and cut it in half. So I have one half here and one half here. All right. And then, of course, I'm going to put it in the Ziploc bag. But before I do, the bacon needs to be flipped over again. Just give it a flip to the other side. That other side that's a little bit of undercooked to cook a little bit more. Bacon, it's looking good. And so now I have cut the bacon in half, and I'm going to go ahead and put her in the Ziploc bag. Well, this bacon is getting done quick, so let's go ahead and get that out. And I just like to put it directly on top of the eggs. That flavor of that bacon grease goes into the eggs. Of course, the eggs also have fat in it from the pure butter. And my eggs is still hot. I did check the temperature on that. Now I can turn the fire off on that for sure. Go ahead and get that out of there. Lay that piece right there on top of the eggs. And it's just going to make it flavorful. I know some people may take their bacon out and drain it on a oven rack or paper towel, and I do that sometimes. Like if I'm making like scrambled eggs and making breakfast sausage links or breakfast patties, I do drain the bacon on a paper towel. But for this recipe, because I'll be using some hearty grits, courtesy of Quaker Oats, this is the way that I do it. So it just makes it more flavorful to eat. The grits, I guess it didn't want to be a part of this party of this piece of bacon here, but it makes the grits, when I put the little bit of margarine in the grits and I did cook the grits with milk and water. And so when I add the margarine to the grits with a little bit of sugar, not a whole lot of granulated sugar, it's just going to make the flavors come together. I'm not going to eat this piece. I don't know why it didn't cook up right, but I'm just going to leave that right there. Everything else looks really good. Let me take a snippet of the bacon on top of the eggs here. And without further ado, let's go ahead and put the bacon in the Ziploc bag. Y'all, I have some wax paper here. It's optional, but if you want to, because I'm going to put this in a freezer to cut back on the bacon going bad. I have already separated some pieces here so that when I take out what I need, that I don't have to unthaw the whole package or anything. So what I recommend is that if you got the time, take some of the cut right wax paper or wherever wax paper you have handy. And it comes in this container here, just like aluminum foil. And so you just take some of the wax paper, and this is Reynolds Kitchen Cut Right wax paper. And you're just going to take a little bit of this and tear off the amount that you'll need and put your bacon in there. So you all, usually I use 6 slices of bacon. It's actually 3 slices of bacon, and I cut it in half, and when I cut it in half, it produces 6 slices on average. So what I have done is took this bacon and put it in the plastic freezer bag, but I'm going to remove it and put it inside of this piece of wax paper right here. See? And I'm going to place one. And keep in mind, 3 slices, when you cut 3 slices of bacon, when I cut 3 slices of bacon in half, it turns into 6 slices of bacon when I fry it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm just going to reach here and grab another piece to make it 6. 6 slices of bacon right here. All right. So what I'm going to do now is to wrap this 1 serving up in the Reynolds wrap. You see this? Now that I've wrapped the 1 serving for myself, if you know your size portions that you eat or that you need for yourself and your family, if you're fixing it for 2, you know how to double up the amount that you will need. So I'm customizing this to where it's already individually wrapped to fix 1 serving for myself. Okay, so I'm putting it back into the Ziploc bag. I've put the bacon that has been cut and wrapped in wax paper in the bag. Is that I'm going to do the same thing for all the other pieces here. The ideal is that whenever I need some bacon, I'm going to put this in the freezer and let it freeze so that the bacon doesn't get old. When I need bacon, instead of throwing out the whole package and stuff and then refreezing the whole package, I can just reach in here and grab this individually wrapped bacon in the wax paper, just like they used to do in, old school. I have torn off 2 more pieces of the Cut Right Reynolds Kitchen wax paper. I've cut off 2 more pieces right here. So the same way that I put in 6 slices of bacon, I'm going to do the same thing with the other wax paper. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to get some from this side, because when you cut bacon, you'll notice that one side is more meatier than the other. And I like to have some meat, and I like to have some of the fatty parts. So I'm going to do 1. So I got 2 of the meaties right here. And then I'm going to grab some that have more of the white fat with some meat in it here. So I'm going to do 3 of these. And then 3 of the side that has more of the red meat there. So it'll be balanced when I fry it. And so likewise, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it. 6 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6. Now, and French, I don't really speak French, but French probably would be un, deux, et trois. Quatre, cinq, six. Now we're going to wrap this. Just roll it up. See, I've created my individual servings of bacon so that when this stuff is froze in the freezer and it turns to ice, all I have to do is reach in here in this Ziploc bag and take out one of the bacons that's individually wrapped and already cut in the wax paper. Yeah, this is my tip on not wasting your food and then happen to throw it out, wasting your bacon. Because you may not eat bacon every day, but you're still going to want to eat bacon. One day I may want to wake up and eat a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or something. And so I know that this bacon ain't going to last forever. You know, some people say, make it last forever, ever. Okay, so I'm going to make this bacon last forever, especially in the midst of a shutdown, like Keith Sweat would say. I just discovered, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this, see how fatty, more fatty this piece is? Let me take off one of these, because I may have put too much of the meaty side over there. Let me put this meaty one over here. And then I'm going to take another one of the meaty sides and put it over here. And then I'm going to take the piece of bacon. As you can see, when you cut your bacon in half, be on the lookout. And you will notice that one side may be thinner and one side may be all fat. So that you get equal portions, make sure that you have put some slices that have fat and some slices that have the red meat in it, so that you will have an equal balance. The 6 that you see were made from 3 slices of bacon that I cut in half. Just want to recap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. Right here, let me get a snippet. All right, so far I have 6 times 3 is 18 slices of bacon in here. And then this is what I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I'm left with. So 18 is inside of this bag. Plus 4. 18 plus 4 is 22, right? So we're going to put this 4 slices right here of bacon. All the others contain 6. Now what I'm going to do here is put it in here in a Ziploc bag. And so that I'll know, this is what I recommend you all whenever you're putting things in the freezer. And again, I have wrapped the bacon in Cut-Right wax paper. Let me turn this around so you can see. This is Cut-Right wax paper, and it is Reynolds kitchen wrap, and it's a 75 square feet, and they come in all different lengths and size right here. So this is wax paper, not aluminum foil. Do not throw away your labels. Whenever you're putting things in a freezer, sometimes you don't know what's in your freezer when you have a lot of things in your freezer. So I recommend pulling up, in this case, Kentucky Legend Applewood bacon label. Just tear that piece off. It comes up very easily. And just pull that part on off. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this label to put inside of here. I can rinse it just a little bit to get some of the bacon fat off of it without it losing its logo. And then this is what I recommend, is that you take this label off of the packaging and you put it in the bag. You put the label inside of a bag, if that makes any sense, so that when you freeze this stuff, it'll be already labeled. You won't have to ask, what's inside of this bag? You know, when it's frozen, you can't really tell half the time what's in your freezer bag. So I recommend to be able to identify your frozen items, your food items that you have frozen for later use. Keep the label from the store, and that way you won't have to figure out or guess what's in the label. So without further ado, just going to go ahead and snap this Ziploc bag closed. Y'all, I really didn't have a big taste for bacon and eggs and grits this time, but I have been doing like chicken gizzards. I did gizzard with rice. Sometimes I'll do cup of noodle soup or whatever. I've just been doing other foods, but this time I'm like, hey, I'm just going to go in here, roughly get me some eggs. I may just heat this up in the microwave for about 30 seconds and nuke it, and then go ahead and go in on my grits. I will maybe put a picture of the plated up food in the beginning of the video when I upload it, you all, when I do my editing. But for the most part, I thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And with that note, I'm out, and I hope that you find these tips useful on cutting your bacon in half and wrapping it in Reynolds wax paper and for individual servings for future use. And you can just take out what you need and customize it for your liking. So with that note, you guys, I'm out. Thanks for watching.